Our marriage was supposed to be built on trust. For years, I believed it was 8 years to be exact. I worked tirelessly, providing for us, making sacrifices I thought were worth it because we were building something together. A home, a future, a life. Sarah always said I was her rock, her stability. She had dreams of running her own business, one daydreams I supported wholeheartedly, even when it meant putting my own goals on hold. But lately something had changed. Sarah wasn't the same. She was always on her phone, hiding the screen when I walked into the room. She started dressing up more than usual, claiming it was for ladies' nights or work events. At first I brushed it off as paranoia. We all have our phases, I told myself. I didn't want to be the insecure husband, but then came the late nights. The mysterious texts, the sudden urge to keep her phone password protected. Deep down, I knew something was wrong. The breaking point came one Friday evening. I came home earlier than usual, hoping to surprise her with dinner, only to find an empty house. On the counter was a receipt for an expensive hotel room booked under her name. My stomach dropped. It didn't take long to confirm what I had been dreading. A quick check of our joint bank account showed multiple charges I couldn't explain: dinners at upscale restaurants I hadn't been to, hotel stays during nights she claimed to be working late. My wife wasn't just distant, she was cheating. I confronted her that night, but not directly. "How was work?" I asked casually as she walked through the door, her hair slightly disheveled and her makeup too perfect for someone who had been in meetings all day. "It was fine," she said, barely meeting my gaze. She kissed me on the cheek like nothing was wrong, but I could see the guilt in her eyes. That's when I decided I wasn't going to confront her until I had everything I needed. I wanted the truth, the whole truth, and I wanted her to pay for what she was doing to me. Over the next few weeks, I became a man with a mission. I started tracking her movements, noting every excuse she gave, every late-night text she tried to hide. I even hired a private investigator, a move that felt extreme at first, but soon proved invaluable. The pie confirmed what I already knew. Sarah was seeing someone else, a man named Eric. They had been meeting for months, spending weekends together while I worked overtime to keep our life afloat. But the real twist came when I dug deeper into Eric. What I discovered about him changed everything. He wasn't just another man. He was a predator, someone with a history of scamming women out of their money. Sarah thought she had found her escape, her true happiness. But she had no idea what she was getting herself into. I sat down that night and laid out my plan. If Sarah thought she could betray me and walk away unscathed, she was about to learn just how wrong she was. I wasn't just going to end this marriage, I was going to burn it to the ground. Once I knew the full extent of Sarah's betrayal and her lover Eric's true nature, my plan shifted into overdrive. I wasn't just going to walk away quietly, I was going to ensure that the two of them paid dearly for what they had done. This wasn't just about ending the marriage. It was about making them regret every moment they thought they could fool me. The first step was securing my finances and property. Sarah and I shared a joint bank account, but thankfully I had a separate savings account she didn't know about. Over the course of a week, I discreetly transferred every penny I could legally move into that account. At the same time, I began working with my lawyer to prepare divorce papers that would leave her with as little as possible. The evidence I had, collected pictures, hotel receipts, text messages, ensured that I had the upper hand in any battle. But my revenge didn't stop there. I wanted to hit them where it hurt the most. Eric was a scam artist, and Sarah was his newest target. I couldn't save her from her own stupidity, but I could make sure his con backfired, using the information I had gathered from the private investigator. I found several of Eric's past victims. These women had been too embarrassed to press charges, but they were more than willing to share their stories once I reached out. Armed with this information, I anonymously tipped off his employer. Turns out, he had lied on his job application about his credentials. Within days, Eric was fired. His reputation in the professional world was tarnished. Meanwhile, Sarah was blissfully unaware of the storm heading her way. She continued her affair, flaunting her freedom while I played the role of the indifferent husband. She had no idea that the divorce papers were about to be served, or that her lover's life was falling apart. I made sure to keep up appearances, even cooking dinner for her a few nights, just to keep her off my trail. Little did she know, those meals were my farewell gift, a calm before the storm. The day I served the divorce papers was one of the most satisfying moments of my life. Sarah was sitting in the living room, scrolling through her phone, when the doorbell rang. She opened the door to find a courier handing her an envelope. Her confusion quickly turned to panic as she read the contents. "What the hell is this?" she shouted, storming into the room where I sat calmly. "It's exactly what it looks like," I said, not even bothering to look up from the newspaper I was reading. "We're done, Sarah. I've filed for divorce." Her face turned red with anger. "You can't do this. We can work things out." "No, we can't," I interrupted, my voice cold. "You made your choice when you decided to bring Eric into our lives. This is the consequence." She started to argue, but I cut her off. "By the way, you might want to check on your boyfriend. Last I heard, he's out of a job and has a few angry exes looking for him. You really know how to pick them, don't you?" Her expression shifted from anger to shock. "What did you do?" she whispered. "I just made sure the world knew the truth about him. You can thank me later." Sarah's world crumbled before my eyes. She tried to beg, to plead for another chance, but I was done. I left the house that night, leaving her alone with the mess she had created. As I walked away, I felt a sense of freedom I hadn't felt in years. But my revenge wasn't over yet. A few weeks later, I heard through mutual friends that Sarah and Eric had officially broken up. Apparently, he had drained her savings and left her with nothing. She had been forced to move into a small apartment and was struggling to get by. Part of me felt sorry for her, but I quickly reminded myself that she had brought this on herself. She had chosen Eric over me, and now she was paying the price. As for me, life had never been better. I focused on my career, landing a promotion that came with a significant pay raise. I started traveling, something Sarah had always complained about, but now gave me a sense of adventure. I even began dating again cautiously at first, but eventually met someone who reminded me of what real love and respect felt like. Her name was Jenna, and she was everything Sarah wasn't: kind, supportive, and genuine. One evening, as Jenna and I were out for dinner, I spotted Sarah sitting alone at a nearby table. She looked tired, defeated, a shadow of the woman she used to be. Our eyes met briefly, and for a moment I thought she might come over. But she didn't. Instead, she looked away, focusing on her drink. I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure. She had made her choices, and I had made mine. Looking back, I realized that Sarah's betrayal had been the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to take control of my life, to rediscover my worth, and to find happiness on my own terms. Revenge had been sweet, but what mattered most was the freedom it brought me. I was finally free from the lies, the pain, and the toxicity of a relationship that had long since died, and for that, I was grateful.